Hey everyone, my name is David Rao, and I'm the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. You can also find my ideas on Facebook, on Instagram, on Pinterest, on TikTok, a variety of places when you search for my name, David Rao, or Make Moments Matter. Tonight I'm going to be talking about my upcoming 4th grade concert and the songs and resources that I use for that, why I plan things the way I do. I'm going to just talk through some of those resources in a second and share my basic concert plans. You can also compare this to my 4th grade concert in the last couple years because it's kind of similar but kind of not, and I usually talk about it in these videos. So you can compare this against old Musical Mondays videos if you're interested in that. But first, let me just say a couple quick things. If you hear me talk about a resource, a book, like the one I'm going to share in a second, or a song that you want to know more about, I have a link on my webpage, makemomentsmatter.org, where you can find all those links. It's on the videos tab. You can also usually find a link to that if you don't want to go to my website. Wherever you're watching or listening to this, you can find it. At the bottom should be a caption, a link to take you right there. Okay, if you want to see me in person and not just through the computer, like last weekend I was in Boston with the New England Orff chapter. I'm going to be doing other live workshops in person with people. The next one is going to be with the Alberta Orff chapter, and that's in Edmonton, Alberta, and that's going to be on November 1st. So if you are near Edmonton, we would love to have you and see you. Come on down. It's going to be a great workshop and a fun morning of music making together. So hope you're able to make it. Okay, so let's talk about, before I talk about 4th grade, I wanted to share a book that I found at the book fair, because it's always so exciting, even still as an adult, when you find fun things at the book fair, and this is a really great one to keep your eye out for, because I found it in paperback, and it's not all that expensive. It was like $7.99 at the book fair, and when you try and find this book online, I've only been able to find it hardback, which for like $12 or to $15. So save yourself money and check it out at your book fair when it rolls through. Also, I don't know if you knew this, but you can order from the Scholastic Teacher Store. You can get a special account and order straight from Scholastic with discounts, and they'll ship it straight to your school if you want, or they can ship it to you, the Scholastic Teacher Store. Check that out. Or if your school recently had a book fair, ask your PTO or librarian or whoever puts it on how you can use the online book fair, because it credits your school. Your school gets like money or whatever they get. They get credit towards usage in the school, but also you can it's kind of like donating to the school too. So two things: check out the Scholastic Teacher Store, and if your school has recently had a book fair, the online book fair, because they have other books you can like buy straight from Scholastic that maybe they don't have this at the school that your school gets credit for. Anyway, check that out. So the book that I'm excited about is called Tala Learns to Siva. It's by Keilani Nitani and Jung Ho. And it's a fun little book. I'll just share a couple pages from. The illustrations are really pretty too. So like, gotta love a great book that has fun visuals. Tala's heart leapt. Auntie Sina looked beautiful with shimmering skin and a tuliga of brown hair and pearly shells. By the way, this book does have a glossary. It does not have a pronunciation glossary. So when I read it to students, I looked it up, but it has been a couple days, and I've had like a sandwich or two since then, so you forget things. So my pronunciation might be off. Check them yourself if you want to read this with kids. Tables of people turned, conversations hushed, music filled the air, and then she began her Tawaluga. Tala's eyes widened in awe. Auntie Sina's hands danced around her body like rolling waves. Her feet sailed across the floor like a canoe on the sea. Her smiling eyes invited everyone on her journey. Afterward, Tala ran to her. "Please teach me to dance like you." "I can teach you as Grandma taught me," Auntie Sina replied. Okay, so later, Auntie Sina takes her through the different steps and dance moves. So first, feet together, knees bent as if hovering in a chair, over a chair. Okay, Tala's legs wobbled. Then Auntie taught her to curl her hands. She bent her fingers in and out, over and over. Tala's wrists stiffened. This is not going well. Last, Auntie taught her to say, I think I'm saying that right, but I could be wrong. Standing tall, she placed her feet in a V, heels together, toes apart, then shifted to toes together, heels apart, back and forth, moving sideways. Tala's knees buckled. "I can't do it," Tala cried. So obviously she has missteps, and her auntie gives her encouragement. She keeps practicing on the playground, at school, at home. She keeps practicing in front of her dolls, all over. And then again, she goes back to her auntie and is like, I can't do it. I can't. Why don't I look right? And her auntie's like, okay, here's. And she says to her auntie, your face glows. I want to glow too. And her auntie asks, do you know why we siva? Because it looks pretty? The Tawaluga is more than a pretty dance, she said. As you siva, you honor Samoa and your ancestors. Tell their story. Their strength will help you shine. Okay, hold on. Not turning pages. New book. Grandma's birthday's next week. Will you dance for her? Tala didn't want to disappoint Auntie or Grandma, so she didn't feel ready, but she would try. Okay, she said. At Grandma's party, Tala's aunties wrapped her in fine mats. Auntie Sina assembled their family tubiga onto her head. Mom tied an ula nifo around her neck. Generations have worn these materials, Auntie said. They're a connection to your ancestors. How? Tala asked. Dance from your heart and you will understand, Auntie said as she smoothed oil on Tala's body. Okay, obviously, she does. She thinks of her ancestors. She gathers outside. People start singing. She's excited, and she imagines her her journey and her family's journey and their connections. And this is a fun page. Her hands fluttered around her like birds. Her feet slid across the floor as if the wind carried her. Her eyes sparkled with new beginnings. Ooh, I skipped a page. Okay, new book. Don't you love new books? Except their pages don't turn as easy. Grandma, Auntie Sina, and the other family members joined Tala in her dance. The love of their ancestors surrounded them. At the end of Tala's Tawaluga, everyone congratulated her. Fefete lava, Grandma said, her eyes full of gratitude. You were glowing, Auntie added. Tala grinned. I danced from my heart. And at the very back, like I said, there's a glossary of terms, not a pronunciation guide, but you can find the answers or just Google Ask Google. And then there's an author's note about the Samoan dance and about the history and the inspiration for the story, about falling in love with dance. And as a child, she wanted to go to these Samoan events and be a part of it, of the dance, but didn't really fully understand until she kept learning and thinking about the cultural connections and the significance of the dance. So, super cool book. You can find it at your, well, I don't know if you can find it at your book fair. Every book fair is a little different. I found it at my book fair. It was only $7.99. Like I said, if you want to buy it straight from Scholastic through either the book fair or through the Scholastic Teacher Store, you can get a better discount than if you tried to buy it on Amazon. And also, you know what? Amazon doesn't need our money. They don't. They're fine. But you know who does? Like local bookstores or local places, or even maybe Scholastic more than just Amazon. I mean, Amazon's doing fine. So I would say if you're going to do something, buy that you can support, like buy from your book fair, like buy in a way that supports your school and maybe not Jeff Bezos. Okay, anyway, just a thought. Excuse me. Okay, so that was Tala Learns to Siva. That's by Keilani Natani. And Jung Ho did the pictures. Super beautiful book, fun, and be great to bring into your classroom. Let's talk about fourth grade. My fourth graders every year do this concert around Veterans Day. It used to be just like every year they would just do patriotic songs, and they would do, I don't know, before I got there it was just like patriotic songs, I guess, a lot, and like American stuff. And I can do like a concert of that, but if asking me to do that every year, I would go, I would be bored. And also, there's only so much you can do. So like there's parts of this concert that do the same every year, and then there's always a part that changes. So the first year they were like, you need to have a nod to veterans in some way. Okay. But like they were like, oh, the fourth graders have always done this. That's not true. Like 2 years before I got there, the second graders were doing it. So like, whatever. But the fourth graders have been doing it for a while since I've been here, and it is around Veterans Day, and we usually do have a connection with veterans, but every year it sort of changes. This is the one that 2 years ago I did, America the Eras Tour, kind of a take on Taylor Swift. And last year I did, since it was an election year, I did Elect Me, which is like about all the fourth graders saying like, you should elect me, here's why, you should elect me, here's why. And I've talked about those different combinations of things in other previous Musical Mondays videos. You can go back and find them in the archive. But this year I want to do something different, and every year one of the things that I do at this concert is we always have like an opening song that we all sing, the whole grade level. And then each homeroom gets their own special song. Usually it's a folk song. Usually it's like an old American, like traditional song, something that like grew up with our country or has been well known, or maybe the parents would know it. I always throw in our state song, which is Home on the Range, Kansas. Then I do a song called Lights of Freedom, which is a way to honor veterans, and then we do 50 Nifty United States at the end. It's like the pattern I've done. So really every year the opening song changes, and then like the 3 pull-out songs for each homeroom change. So I'm going to share like kind of what I'm planning on doing in this concert and how I'm pulling it all together. So I wanted to do something a little different, but I wanted it to still be on theme. I didn't want it to just be like the Veterans Day concert. I wanted there to be like a theme and an idea. So what I'm calling it is Trailblazers and Tall Tales. So like I feel like that's perfect for like Wagons West, or like moving out, or like exploration, because trailblazers, if you're that can mean a lot of different things. It can be people who've done something for the first time. It can we live in Kansas, literally where the Oregon Trail started. Like we are like miles from Westport, where all of this began, the Oregon Trail began. And so a big part of like our local culture is this idea of like, the covered wagons and going out and finding, your plot of land, and like the homesteaders and all that. Like that's a huge part of Kansas culture, but also specifically our school. Like it's a unit that the kids study. So Trailblazers is kind of perfect for that aspect. Trailblazers and Tall Tales. Tall Tales is fun because then you can bring in stories and songs and things that are maybe not true, but like are things that maybe people would have known at the time of the pioneers, or or would have been something that like grows up with our country like that. So we start with a song from Music K8 called An Adventure. It's from volume 14 in 2004, but it's still a pretty cool song, even though it's 21 years old. The words say, everyone says that life is a journey. Everyone says there's so much to know. Maybe it's true that life is uncertain. Maybe it's true we learn as we go. That's the verse. The bridge goes, I don't know how it will go. I don't know how I'll do, but I do know that I can try, because every day is new. And the chorus is, with an open mind and an open road and a path that lies before me, I will find my way every night and day. Oh, my life will be an adventure. And then there's a second verse, which is more like, well, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I'm going to have the mindset of I'm going to go out and we're going to grow. And I think you can use this song for a lot of different settings. But for me, it works really well for this idea of like an adventure, or like going out and exploring and trying new things. So it's kind of the perfect song to start our concert. And then every homeroom, I have 3 homerooms of 4th grade this year. Each one gets their own pull-out song. And so I tried to find like old standard songs that are like along that theme of Trailblazers or Tall Tales, to try and bring in. So one class is going to get Clementine. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine, you are lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine. So it's about 49ers, it's about the gold rush. And so that's like a perfect connection to like Trailblazers, like going and trails and wagons west to try and go out and seek your fortune. Another homeroom is doing Sweet Betsy from Pike, which is honestly not one that I've really ever taught. But oh, won't you remember sweet Betsy from Pike, who crossed the wide prairie with her husband Ike, with 2 yoke of oxen and 1 spotted hog, a tall Shanghai rooster, and an old yeller dog. Okay, so what's very fun is like it could just be like a Wagons West sort of song, and it goes through some of that. There's some of this tall tale stuff that gets in here really early. The rooster ran off and their oxen all died. The morning the last piece of bacon was fried, poor Ike got discouraged and Betsy got mad. Their pig they'd eaten and their dog looked sad. They finally do make it to Oregon. And the last verse is, they got a place down in the Columbia Gorge and had 13 children that they all named George. Now Betsy did the farming while hunting while Ike chased the 13 sweet babies of Betsy from Pike. So a super great like connects in with the like Wagons West, and also this is obviously there are parts of this that are not true, so the tall tale comes in. So it's just a super fun, easy song, and it's silly, and the kids will like that. And it will be great to go after Clementine, which is like, yes, it is a standard song, and it is about Trailblazers, but it's sad. Okay, and then to bookend the other side of like, oh, Sweet Betsy of Pike, silly, funny, fun, with another sad song is John Henry. So the song of John Henry, who the Tall Tale says that he went up against steam-driven railroad spike. What's the word? It's not engine, but what do they call it? Steel drill. That like he took railroad spikes and he helped build the railroad. So again, another trailblazer, like helping make our nation come together. And but at the same time that he was out there with like a sledgehammer trying to hammer in the nails of this railroad, they brought in a steam machine, a drill that helped to that was supposedly going to go faster. Well, okay, so the Tall Tale says that John Henry went up against the machine and he beat the machine, and then as soon as he finished, he had overexerted himself and he fell over and died. So they do think John Henry was a real person, but we don't know that the stories may be true, so it's another one that fits right in with that theme of Trailblazers and Tall Tales, and hopefully will be a fun addition. Okay, so then we get to do the last three are like it's every fourth grade. It sort of helps tie it together. We do Home on the Range because that's our state song, but also kind of fits in with that theme. But like our fourth graders should know it, and it's one that we do it where we sing it for parents, and then the second time through we ask them to sing along. So it's one where the audience gets to participate. Super fun. After Home on the Range, I do this song every year from Music K called The Lights of Freedom. I think that's what it's original. The Lights of Freedom. That's what it's originally called. It's from Volume 13, Number 3. So 2003, another oldie but a goodie. And if you look on the links page, all of these are linked. If you want to go listen to them, if you want to like listen to an excerpt on the Music 8 website, you can. Now this one, what it has that it has a sort of a slow start talking about freedom, the lights of freedom. Shine on our land from sea to sea, from hand to hand. And when I look up, oh, I can see the lights of freedom shine out for me. And then there's this like instrumental interlude, and there's this sort of chorus, the lights, oh say can you see, shining out in liberty, on each state throughout our land, shine upon us as we stand free. Okay, so that's what happens, and then it wants you, like it suggests that in this long instrumental interlude that you speak and say the names of all the states. Well, we're going to do 50 Nifty United States. We don't need to do that. So instead, I have parents send in photos of family members or close family friends or anyone who they know who is a veteran. And in those instrumental interludes, we talk about each branch of the military, and we put a slideshow going behind us as we're singing of photos of people who we know. So like submitted photos from family members of folks who are part of have been part of the armed services or are still part of the armed services. And so veterans go up. And I say to kids, if it's your grandpa and he's still living, or a great grandpa and he's passed away, or if it's your uncle or whoever, brother or cousin, or even if it's just like a family friend who you consider family, just send in whatever photo you want, and we will put it in the slideshow. And it always fills up. We very rarely have representatives of folks from the Coast Guard because we are a landlocked state, but there have been a couple over the years, so it's kind of fun to see that. Those happen in the instrumental interlude, and they just keep going, and every year it's a hit, and every year it's fun, and pretty easy to put together because there's a lot of repetition in the song, so it's just sort of the timing of the song, but it's easy to get my kids to learn that one. And then we end with the 50 Nifty United States, which has become like a school tradition, but also like it's just fun and they love it. And their parents are always like, oh my gosh, I know that song. And so that's another fun one to end with. Not necessarily on the line of Trailblazers and Tall Tales, but like, I don't know, it fits in, right? Like, so it still like brings it that like Americana vibe and is a fun ending, and also like is something that the kids are always look forward to. And apparently teach the kids below them, because when I started teaching it this year, they were like, we already know, we learned it last year in after school care. Great. So anyway, that was the quick run through of my upcoming fourth grade concert around Veterans Day, which I'm calling Trailblazers and Tall Tales. You could go in whatever direction you wanted with this. I find that many songs, so let's see, an opener, one song for each homeroom, Home on the Range, short, Lights of Freedom, and 50 Nifty. That's 7 songs. That's a lot of songs for an elementary concert. But the 3 homeroom ones are pretty short and it goes pretty quick. So it's not too long of a concert. I have like 5 or 6 songs on my list of like, could do this, could do this, could do this, but I just don't have the time for it. So this is a fun way to bring in those things, and I have options if I need them or if I want them. Okay, like I said, I do a version of this concert every year. So if you want to go back to last year and see it where it's themed around elections, or if you want to go the year before where it's themed around Taylor Swift, well, not Taylor Swift, but I call it America the Eras Tour. So like we talked about the eras of the United States, like the colonial period and like not industrial revolution, but like westward expansion or whatever. We talked about each one of those and had a song for each one, which was hilarious. I've also done other versions of this concert. So if you want to go back into the archives, Musical Monday archives, you can find more examples of that. But it's the same sort of thing every year. The thing that changes is the opening song, all the skits and stuff in between, and then the 3 or 4 homeroom songs that we have every year. But it's a pretty fun concert, and it's been pretty versatile. So I'm excited about how it's going to go this year. The one thing I have not figured out is what am I going to have the students wear. But I don't know. I'm going to let them decide that. So maybe a costume of whoever they think a trailblazer is, or what they think that is. If they want to go literal, like if they want to go like Wagons West, they can. Or if they want to come dressed as like, I don't know, Rosa Parks, or someone who like they think is a trailblazer who has like stood up or is an important figure, or someone who has made a difference in the course of history. They could do that too. I think that there are options, but still need to nail down exactly what I'm going to have them do, because I have to send that email home to parents like this week. So anyway, still some details to figure out, but I'm really excited about how it's coming together. If you have questions about this concert or anything else, please send me an email. My email is makemomentsmatter@gmail.com. And I hope that if you are in Alberta, you will plan to join us at my next workshop, which is on November 1st in Edmonton. But I'll be back next Monday for more Musical Mondays. I hope you'll join me then. Until then, have a great time with your kids and enjoy making music with them.